Hi, happy Friday. I'm Jennifer from the Somerset County Family Community Health Science Department, and we're here in the kitchen today making a butternut squash turkey kale soup. Now I've already heated my pan and I put in about a quarter cup of pancetta, and this is sauteing up nice and brown. So I'm ready to add an onion. So it was just a medium-sized onion that I diced up. We're going to let this saute a few minutes and get nice and brown and soft. But this time of year, my favorite is to make soup. I have so many recipes that are my favorite, and I love butternut squash. So this is not going to be a creamy butternut squash soup. This is more of a stew. It's going to be hearty with the bits of butternut squash and kale and full of flavor from the onion and the pancetta. We're going to add garlic, and we're going to boost our immune system by adding turmeric and ginger to this as well. So this is going to be a delicious, flavorful soup that's great for meal prepping. In the fall and winter, I love to make a batch of soup in the beginning of the week, and then it lasts for a few days for lunch, for dinner. You can extend it with a nice side salad or nice crusty whole grain bread, or make some garlic bread and have dinner. And the soup also freezes really well. So we have our diced medium onion in here, and then we're going to add our turkey. Now, I've chose 1 pound of dark meat ground turkey. I like this because it does add a little bit more flavor, and the dark turkey meat is a little higher in iron than the lean. But lean is leaner. So choose your preference. This is also a great recipe to use for leftover turkey on Thanksgiving. So you don't have to use the ground turkey. You could actually use your leftover bits of turkey. I know I love my leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, and I love the sandwiches, but sometimes you have a lot and you're like, what else can I make besides a sandwich? So this is a great recipe. So I'm just taking my wooden spoon and putting the bits of turkey into pieces so that they cook nice. Now the spices, like I said, that we're going to add ground turmeric. This is full of nutrients for us, and it's a nice vibrant orange color, which will go well with our butternut squash. So we're going to do let's do 2 teaspoons. Okay. And then I have fresh ginger. Now I just buy a ginger root. I keep it in my freezer so for when I have recipes. There's nothing like the smell of ginger. It's very strong, so a little goes a long way. Again, my handy zester here, and I'm just going to grate the ginger. About a teaspoon. We're going to do a little bit more. This is so flavorful. Okay. So we have our ginger. Let's do a little more. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. Our garlic press is missing, so I'm just going to zest that. Our bits of garlic. Now, again, you can use your flavor preferences, how much garlic that you like. I'm using 2 cloves for this recipe. You can also, again, as a shortcut, you can have the jar in your refrigerator of minced garlic. So a lot of times we're always looking for shortcuts. So this is nice. Just watch those fingers. Okay. And we're going to give this a nice stir. Make sure everything is cooked through. And my turkey browns really nicely. This is a really quick meal too. So you're just waiting for the turkey to get browned, which we're almost there. Now I'm not adding extra salt here because we're going to add our chicken stock, which I bought low sodium, but it still has sodium in there. And we're adding a special ingredient. I have the rind of a Parmesan cheese. This is loaded with flavor. While the soup is going to simmer, we're going to add the rind of Parmesan cheese. And then when we're ready to serve, we're just going to take it out. So I'm going to add that in there as well. Okay. This needs just a few more minutes to cook. So our turkey is all browned and we're ready for the next part. So this is a butternut squash soup. So I'm going to add one package, it's 20 ounces of cubed butternut squash. Now, two things you want to remember. You want to keep the dices uniform size so that they cook evenly. And you can absolutely carve up a butternut squash yourself. But for me, for a shortcut, I love just buying the one already cubed. They were big pieces, so I did chop them up a little bit smaller so they were bite-sized and uniform. At this point, you can also add in about 2 stalks of celery chopped up. Leeks also make a really great addition if you want to finally chop up a leek and put that in here for some added flavor. So we have our butternut squash, and we're going to add a box of low-sodium chicken stock. I'm doing about 6 cups. More is always better because we're going to add in kale at the end, and that's going to really absorb the liquid. We got our whole box here. This is another pantry staple I love to have in my home in the fall and the winter is boxes of chicken stock and chicken broth. Okay. So now we have our butternut squash, our stock, and our Parmesan rind is in here. So what I'm going to do is just let this simmer. I'm going to cover it up. And it's going to simmer on the stove for about 15 minutes or so till the butternut squash is cooked through. And then to top it off, we'll add our kale. Okay, so our soup is cooked thoroughly. The butternut squash is nice and tender. So the last ingredient we're going to add is kale. So I have kale that I've already broken up. And it looks like a lot, but you know when you cook spinach, how it wilts down. So that's what we want to do. We want to let it just get covered by the stock and cook for a few minutes until it's wilted and cooked through. Now, this is the kale. Now, you know on kale, this stem is very hard. So we're not throwing that part in there. What I'm doing is I just broke off pieces, small pieces from that stem. And kale is a great item of produce this time of year as we get into the winter. It's great in season, packed with vitamins, vitamin K, iron. Okay, so we're just going to let that coat. This will be another recipe that you will add to your family's list of favorites, for sure. Okay, look, and it's so colorful. The bright green, the orange, the aroma. Remember, we added ginger, garlic, onion, turmeric. So it's really healthy and rich in color. Here we go. Oh, so beautiful. And then, too, as the soup sits, if you need to add more broth, you can. But look at that. Beautiful. The recipe will be in the comments below. Join us next week when we make sweet potato dip. That will be a fast favorite at a football game or even an appetizer on Thanksgiving. See you next week.